Take a thin needle and the main color yarn. Let's cast on. Cast on 108 stitches here. First stitch, insert the hook through this hole. Then insert the hook between 2 stitches. You can also cast on in your usual way if you prefer. After finishing the stitch count, smooth out the yarn. Join in the round and knit 2 by 2 ribbing. That means 2 knit stitches followed by 2 purl stitches. The neckline 2 by 2 ribbing is 3 cm long. Now switch to a thicker needle. In this round, need to adjust the stitch count. Add 4 stitches. Knit all stitches in this round. When increasing, pick up the strand between stitches. Knit twisted stitches. That means picking up the back strand. Use this method for all increases at the back. One more stitch was added earlier. Add the second stitch in this section. In this round, add 4 stitches total. The position can be random. Adjusted the stitch count in this round, meaning add 4 stitches at any position. Here, add 4 stitches. The next round is the first increase. According to 2 stitches. The pattern for increasing 1 stitch. Now we've reached the starting point. Still the first increase 1 stitch after every 2 stitches. 2 stitches. Pick up the carried yarn to increase 1 stitch. This round follows the pattern of increasing 1 stitch after every 2 stitches. After the first increase round, there are 168 stitches total. Now we'll work short rows with this starting point as the center of the back body. Leave 52 stitches between the 2 stitch markers, meaning 26 stitches on each side from the center. The yarn tail has now reached the center point. Work all the way to the red stitch marker before starting short rows. Now that we know the position of the red stitch marker, turn to the wrong side to work short rows. Place the yarn over the needle. Skip the first stitch. Turn and pull tight. After pulling tight, this stitch becomes a double strand. Treat it as 1 stitch from now on. Since this is the wrong side, bring the yarn forward and knit all stitches purlwise. Work all the way to the stitch marker on this side, then turn for short rows. Reach the purple stitch marker position. Turn to the right side. Place the yarn over the needle again, skip the first stitch. Slip the first stitch and pull tight. After pulling tight, this stitch also becomes a double strand. Treat it as 1 stitch. On the right side, knit all stitches. That is, knit stitch. Work all the way to the red stitch marker position on the right side. Knit the double stitch before the stitch marker as one stitch, which is decreasing a row. Then remove the stitch marker first, work 7 stitches forward for short rows. Worked 7 stitches to the wrong side. Place the stitch marker. Place the yarn over the needle. First stitch. Pull tight without knitting. It becomes a double strand again. Bring the yarn up, purl all stitches on the wrong side. Work all the way until only the stitch marker remains. When encountering the double strand here, knit it as one stitch. Similarly on the wrong side, work short rows forward for 7 stitches. Then to the right side. Place the stitch marker. Place the yarn over the needle, skip the first stitch. Pull tight. Knit all stitches on the right side. Work all the way to this side, knit 7 stitches past the stitch marker. Then from the wrong side to this side, knit 7 stitches past the stitch marker, meaning each time work short rows forward for 7 stitches. One side stitch marker needs to be worked short rows 3 times. Knit the double strand as one stitch. Now it's the second time working short rows with the red stitch marker. Work 7 stitches to the wrong side. Slip the first stitch, pull tight, bring the yarn forward. Purl the stitch. Knit the double strand as one stitch on this side. Knit 7 stitches forward on this side. Place the stitch marker. This is the second time for the purple stitch marker side. Place the yarn over the needle. Skip the first stitch, pull tight to create a double strand. All stitches on the right side are knit stitches. When encountering a double strand, knit it as one stitch. Now it's the third short row for the red stitch marker side. Cast on and knit to the wrong side. Slip the first stitch, pull tight. Bring the yarn forward to purl. Knit the double strand as one stitch. Now it's the third short row for the purple stitch marker side. Knit 7 stitches forward to the right side. Place the yarn over the needle. Slip the first stitch and pull tight. Knit all stitches. Knit the double strand as one stitch on this side. Keep the red stitch marker, short rows conclude from now on, and start working in the round from here. The stitch marker here becomes the new starting point. You can remove the purple stitch marker on this side. Knit the double strand as one stitch here. Up to this point, the decrease row is finished. From now on, work even downward in rounds starting from this red stitch marker. Knit 4 centimeters downward following the thread from the front. Now it's time for the second increase. The increase pattern is every 3 stitches. Increase 1 stitch. Knit 3 stitches. Increase 1 stitch. After the second increase, the total stitches are 224. The total stitches here need to be a multiple of 8. Next, work the pattern which consists of 8 stitches and 9 rows in 2 colors. The blank areas here. Use the main color, which is navy blue. Use the contrasting color in these areas, which is pearl white. Follow the chart for the next steps. The first row is all in the main color. That is this round. Now work the second round. 1 stitch of main color has already been worked. 3 stitches of contrasting color. Also wrap this yarn tail around. Two stitches worked, third stitch. Tuck the yarn down. Then 2 stitches of main color. One stitch of contrasting color. One stitch of main color. That completes 8 stitches. Next, you can carry the yarn with both hands. One stitch of main color. 3 stitches of contrasting color. The third stitch requires tucking the yarn. First bring up the main color yarn. Then the contrasting color yarn. Tuck the main color yarn down after holding it. Work the third stitch like this, then 2 stitches of main color yarn. 1 stitch of contrasting color yarn. 1 stitch of main color yarn. That completes 8 stitches. After finishing, loosen it a bit. Let's take another look. 1 stitch of main color yarn. 3 stitches of contrasting color yarn. The third stitch requires tucking the yarn. Bring up the main color yarn. Then go down. Reached the starting point. 1 stitch of contrasting color. 3 stitches of main color. The third stitch. Switch the yarn. 1 stitch of contrasting color. 3 stitches of main color. The first 2 main color stitches are under this yarn. The third main color stitch is over this yarn, so the positions are switched. Let's watch it again. 1 stitch of contrasting color. 3 stitches of main color. The third stitch, white yarn goes down. 1 stitch of contrasting color. 3 stitches of main color. Next, follow this method to finish row 19 of the pattern. Now the pattern is complete. You can cut off the contrasting yarn. Now we're going to do the third round of increases. This time the increase pattern is 4 stitches plus 1. This round also requires adjusting the stitch count. This time we need to decrease 4 stitches. That means following the 4 stitch plus 1 pattern at any 4 places. Skip 4 increases, making the total stitch count a multiple of 23. Also press down the yarn tails. 4 stitches have been worked here. 4 stitches plus 1. After completing the increases, the total stitch count is now 276. Now we have 276 stitches. Knit 1 round of knit stitches, then work pattern B. Next, work the pattern, which is this one. It consists of 23 stitches and 21 rows. Pattern B also uses 2 colors, with the blank areas worked in main color yarn. Additionally, the contrasting color used is lotus pink. Now we're working pattern B, first stitch with main color yarn, second stitch with contrasting color yarn. Then 7 stitches with main color yarn. On the third stitch, we need to trap the yarn. Trap the yarn every 2 stitches. Once the yarn tails are secured well, you can carry the yarn with both hands. After completing these 7 main color stitches, work 3 contrasting color stitches. Third stitch. Trap the yarn. After 3 contrasting color stitches, work 7 main color stitches. For these 2 stitches, on the third stitch, place the yarn over the top, work the main color yarn over the top. Then 2 more main color stitches with the yarn underneath, and this yarn over the top. Work 2 more stitches. Main color yarn over the top, contrasting color yarn underneath. After 7 main color stitches, work 1 contrasting color stitch. 3 more main color stitches remaining. That completes 23 stitches. Now follow the chart and start again from the first stitch. Complete pattern B yourself. Now that pattern B is finished, you can cut the contrasting color yarn. Now for the fourth increase round. This increase follows a pattern of 5 stitches plus 1 increase. You need a multiple of 8 stitches. Adjust the stitch count here. Decrease 2 stitches, meaning follow the 5 stitches plus 1 increase pattern this round. Skip increasing twice. Work 2 rounds first, then increase on the left side during the third round. Now working the third round in main color. Work 5 stitches, then increase 1 stitch. After this increase, the total stitch count will be 328. Now moving to pattern C. Pattern C also consists of 2 colors, main color is navy blue, and contrasting color is pearl white. Start with the first row of the chart, working 6 main color stitches. Then 1 stitch in contrasting color. 1 stitch in main color. Repeat. 6 stitches in main color. Press the yarn on every third stitch. One stitch in contrasting color. 1 stitch in main color. 1 stitch in contrasting color. 1 stitch in main color. Continue working pattern C according to the chart until finished. Up to this point, finish pattern C and cut off the contrasting color yarn. Then work even with main color yarn for the armhole length. Press the yarn tail here as well. Measure the armhole length downward from this straight line on the front body neckline. This length is approximately 22 centimeters. Begin dividing for sleeves. The method for all sizes is the same. The video demonstration uses small size as example. Here we explain the large size. After finishing pattern C, increase once more following the 6-stitch increase pattern, adjust stitch count to 382. The armhole length is approximately 23 centimeters. When dividing, allocate 121 stitches each for front and back bodies, and 70 stitches each for the sleeves. Decrease 1 stitch every 15 rows for the sleeves. Now use stitch markers to divide front and back bodies, 109 stitches for front, 109 stitches for back, and 55 stitches for each sleeve. Now work from the starting point stitch marker all the way to the sleeve stitch marker. Now you've reached the sleeve position. Transfer these 55 stitches onto waste yarn. Make a knot with the yarn. Then add stitches under the arm between front and back bodies. Add by wrapping the yarn. Create 14 new stitches. After adding stitches, join in the round and knit. Now you've reached the other sleeve, same as before, take the 55 stitches, and place them on waste yarn. Keep this red stitch marker as the starting point. Make a knot here too. Add 14 stitches here as well. After adding stitches, join in the round and knit. Next, work in rounds on the body section. Knit all stitches. Keep knitting until you reach your desired length. Once the garment reaches your desired length, prepare to knit the bottom edge. You've now reached the 25 cm mark. Find the starting point from the side seam of the garment. Place a stitch marker here. Next, knit 6 cm for the bottom edge. Switch to a thin needle. After hanging the yarn end, work in 2 by 2 ribbing, which is 2 knit stitches, 2 purl stitches, or 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches. When the bottom edge reaches the starting point, it's time to bind off. When you encounter a knit stitch, work it as a purl stitch. When you encounter a purl stitch, work it as a knit stitch. Now to work a purl stitch, bring the yarn to the front. Then decrease 2 stitches into 1. Here you need to work a knit stitch, so bring the yarn to the back. This is also a knit stitch. Here you need to work a purl stitch, so bring the yarn to the front again. After finishing, pick up 1 stitch from the side. Now let's work on the sleeves. Transfer the stitches from the waste yarn onto the bulky knitting needle. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Then pick up all the stitches under the arm. You can pick up a few extra stitches on both sides. Work the sleeves even in the round until you reach your desired length. I've reached 34 centimeters here. Then prepare to work the bottom edge. Fold the underarm increase section in half. From this straight upward position, use this as the new starting point. Place the stitch marker. Start working the bottom edge. Switch to the thin needle. Since there are fewer stitches, switch to this straight needle. Decrease stitches in this round. Follow the pattern of decreasing 1 stitch every 3 stitches. Three stitches, then decrease 2 stitches into 1. This decreases 1 stitch. 3 stitches. Decrease 1 stitch. Then work the 2x2 ribbing. That's 2 knit stitches, 2 purl stitches. The cuff ribbing is 6 centimeters long. Now it's time to bind off. When you encounter a knit stitch, work it as a purl. When you encounter a purl stitch, work it as a knit. Then decrease 2 stitches into 1. After finishing the last stitch, pick up 1 stitch from the side.